How do you fix a failed attack in Clash of Clans? Today we are going to help you with that. We're going to watch my two most recent 3-star attacks in War, which both had an attack by my clanmate prior to my own, and they just missed out. So we will show you the failed attack. We will then explain how I went about watching it. What was I looking for? How exactly did I make it more efficient in order to then get the 3 stars? This is going to help you whenever you already have an attack on a base by your clanmate which maybe just didn't quite get it done. It's got the potential. What should you look for? How could you fix it? Let's get into it. Alrighty guys, let's dive into this first one by Celtic, which was the Dragons and Bat spells, that DragBat attack strategy, getting the 99% 1-star. Gutting. It sounds easier to fix than it was, so let's dive into it and I'll tell you what I thought in terms of making this more efficient. The second attack was the LavaLoon. You saw a bit of a sneak peek at the start. That one got the base down, but essentially ran out of time. So we had to look at when can we bring the troops in quicker? How can we alternate this in order to fix time to get the job done? So we will get onto that in a second. And guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure to do so and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos. So Celtic brings in the Queen from one side, the King from the other, in order to set up a funnel for the Dragons, which then push in from the southwest of the base. Now as I am watching this attack, I'm thinking to myself, it's working pretty well. The Dragons have taken out the air defense, now getting over to the Queen with the use of that rage spell. That bit's working good, and if something works well, leave it alone, just replicate it. But then the bat spells come in. They take out the single target inferno, get an air defense, get an expo, another expo, but then they just kind of fizzle out. They leave all of these defenses to the north of the base. So immediately I'm thinking, maybe that is a bit we could change. There's actually a lot of dragons and balloons still in the center of the base, so how do we make the bats even better? You can see on the right hand side there is a Tesla, so essentially we can pop one balloon on that. It is going to help a little bit in terms of time efficiency, but it's not going to make a huge difference. I was thinking as well, maybe we could sneak some loons onto this archer tower at the top. They would just help a little bit, but again, not going to make a major difference. The bats though, we did indeed change. Look at that. Look at that! It doesn't get much closer than that. 99% 1-star, but let's show you how exactly we fixed the attack. So you might have seen the bat wave technique, you might have seen the bat bomb technique. How exactly are they different? Why does one provide better damage over another? So the bat bomb technique, which was used initially, is where you put all of your spells in the middle of the base here. Boom! If you try and just flush out that area. If you need pathing for your dragons to stick to one side of the base, that is often good. Or likewise, if you have a splash damage defense, you need to just get down and let your dragons, or the bats, spread, then that's what you need to do. In this case, if you drop the bats here, they are taking damage from an air defense, an expo, an air defense, single target inferno, the air defense they're on top of, or the expo, getting everything mixed up here, guys. Let me off. Let me know down in the comments though if you enjoy these styles of videos. Essentially, they're taking a lot of damage from all of this. What about if we brought the bats in from this side and let them sweep through the base? Whilst they are taking out these 3 defenses here, look, they're actually out of range of that air defense. So they're actually taking out some of the defenses whilst not getting hit by others. That's where the bat wave technique can be helpful. It reduces the amount of damage on the bats and it allows them to form in a bigger group as they then sweep through the base. So what I thought is, why don't we replicate the attack? We'll take out that Tesla in the corner, which we do straight away before we forget. Then we'll use the bat wave technique. I think that will fix it. So the Tesla goes down, we use the Queen and the King on exactly the same spaces. I cannot stress that enough. If the attack works, make sure you are replicating it as best as possible. Do not change parts of the attack that work. Now, some strategies are easier to replicate than others. If you are bringing bowlers and witches, for example, into a base, it might be hard to replicate. The more surgical the attack, the easier it is. So the dragons and balloons come through, the rage spell used in the same area. Now comes the bat spells. I figured this wizard tower would be distracted by the dragons, but I decided to use the freeze spell there anyway, because if it turned onto the bats, it was good night. The rage spell still gets used, very similar to if you use the bat bomb technique, but look at how many more defenses the bats take out. They sweep all of this area, but they do just miss out on the single. I was a little bit unfortunate. They did get drawn to the center here just a little bit. However, they're still going. They are not down yet, guys. They come back across. They take out an air defense. They're still going, and they just miss out on the single target inferno. However, at this point, they've done so much better of a job that the dragons can finish off the rest of the base. So this dragon takes out the single target inferno, only just mind, but then they're able to clean up the base. Again, I wasn't worried about time with the dragons, because essentially if you can sweep that base quick enough, you're going to get it down. It really was more a case of fixing the bat spells, and it worked out quite nicely with the bat wave technique. Now, what about the second attack that we had? How did we fix this one? Now, we had a couple of goes on this base. Ravi had a little bit of a shot at it after the first attack and didn't quite get it done. But the first attack was here by, again, Swaggy Celtic. Let's get into it. So, he decides to use a queen charge from up to the town hall here, and it works out incredibly well. Again, thinking about value of the attack, what parts work well, what parts didn't work well. So he brings in a loon here to this mortar, then brings in a wizard to the gold storage, which actually gets picked off, and then needs to bring another wizard in to get this gold storage down so that the queen is forced up and down here. So immediately I thought, okay, we need them two wizards on there. We need that gold storage down. We could actually get one of the wizards in as we are taking that mortar out with the loon, because the arch tower was actually distracted. That can help a little bit, so I did decide to do that. However, we used a minion to draw this area. There was actually a minion down here, but all what happened is it drew the CC troops down, which then came back across. Didn't help, so I scrapped that minion. I used it at the end in order to help with cleanup. Now this works very well. The king comes in, decides to come this way to set the funnel so that the queen can come into the base. All pretty simple. Again, it all works very nicely, so I'm not going to change anything. These two loons worked very well just to reduce the fire on the queen, reduce the fire on the king, so again, I'm going to follow that. Now again, when you're watching attacks, think about the things that didn't quite go right. How could they get fixed? As soon as this cannon goes down, the healers and the queen get drawn into a black air bomb. Boomf. He actually used 5 healers on this attack. I can protect one of the healers by sending in a loon there in order to take that out. As soon as that cannon goes down, if I send a loon, I can protect the healers. I'm going to pause for a second so I don't lose my train of thought. That essentially protects one healer, which is 14 troop space. I can use that for a little bit more cleanup troops, but also when you watch the queen come in here, she isn't even close to getting taken out, so I can get away with 4 healers more than comfortably. Again, the jump spell comes in. We then have a slammer from this area, followed by the hound. The next hound is delayed a little bit, which comes across. So essentially what I thought is, well, kind of doesn't do too much, but we might be able to protect one extra loon there. That might help. The other parts of the attack work well. The queen charge again gets massive value coming into here. The LavaLoon pathing, freezing that single target inferno. The rage spell followed by the heals. We get a good split on the balloons here, which should be easy to replicate. And the heal spell I feel gets pretty good value as well. So at this point, what I'm thinking is, again, queen, she's not really taking a lot of fire, so I can drop a healer off the army composition. I only need to take 4, and essentially if I take take a loon to take out that black bomb, I've made up for the difference anyway. Plus again, the queen, she's absolutely fine here. What happens is cleanup doesn't quite go to plan. So essentially, if I can improve the attack by, like we said, fixing the start with that part, with the wizard, sorry, just getting that a bit more efficient, saving onto a healer, getting a few other troops, I think we can clean this in order to then get more troops onto this area of the base to take it down. Again, it was super close, so let's get into my attack and show you how we fixed it. Again, it's going to be very similar, but just with them subtle differences. It doesn't have to be a big overhaul of the attack. If it has been that close, then you can make them little subtle differences. That's what this video is about. Now, even if it's not that close, you might be surprised how little differences setting a funnel a little bit differently might indeed get it done. So, let's dive into it. We use the loon look. Once the archer tower is distracted, that wizard is straight in, getting a bit of damage onto this gold storage. So essentially, we get this down securely. I was thinking about how I might be able to do that with one wizard. Could I put the archer queen in and then get the wizard in? But I was just a bit worried that I didn't get that funnel set. And if I didn't, there's a good chance the queen is walking down this way and it is raid over. So essentially, I did decide to use the two wizards. Now the minions, which I wasn't expecting, came up to my healers, so I decided to put a couple of minions in to help. That actually, in retrospect, didn't really do anything because the poison spell got them down just as fast. So essentially, I've lost 2 minions, which I could have improved the attack on. Again, I didn't foresee that. Sometimes things happen, you've just got to get on with it. You have to try and replicate the attack as best as possible, but you're not going to get it bang on. That's something you've got to face up to, guys. So the king, again, placed on the exact same building with that wizard, and then the 2 loons come in to take that archer tower. As the queen comes down again, my little key point, and pause it again so that I can help you guys here, make key points in the raid. So what I am looking at is, as soon as this cannon goes down, I know I need to drop a loon. That's my key reference. As soon as that cannon's down, loon is getting dropped. So I'm just sitting, watching, waiting. Once the cannon goes down, I know I'm doing something else. So there we go. I brought it in a little bit earlier, but I knew it would then redirect to the Tesla. Again, have them little key checkpoints. The rage spell was used earlier than the other raid because I knew it was going to last to get me through the queen and through these expos. As soon as the queen has set up the funnel here, I decide, right, that's it. She's going into the base, I can start the Lalo, I don't have to worry. So in comes the slammer, in with the loons on that area, made sure to bring the hounds and the loons down from this area as well because again, we want that split. That worked very nicely, so that is what we're doing. The freeze spell, again, I decided to clutch this air defense as well. Noticed on the replay I could do that, so why not? Just relieves the fire a little bit. As we come through the base here, again, we've got that good split. Some loons coming up to the top, some coming into the bottom, and I've got all of the minions in from this side. Again, the balloons are going to finish on this side of the base. Once the defenses are going down, the balloons move to the trash buildings. They're going to take all of the trash buildings down on this side of the base before they move across here, so that is where you want your minions in straight away. It also gives them more time. The queen with the healers, again, didn't have to change that too much. I knew she was going to be okay. Now my attack wasn't exactly perfect. It gets a little hairy. Now always think, how could I improve it even more? Even though I got the 3 stars, what could I have done? Now here's what I could have fixed. I knew that the attack beforehand had more than enough loons to get the job done. At the end of the attack, there was loads of loons. In my attack, there is loads of loons. I could have saved on to 1 or 2 in order to then bring in for the cleanup to help out. That would have made it a little bit less scary for my attack, but there you guys go. I hope you enjoyed that one. If you want to see me attacking some higher bases, Town Hall 12 attacks, so 10v12, click on the video which is there right now, guys. But until next time, that wraps it up. Peace out.